just trying to wake everyone up. It's going to be a few people asleep after that. I know I was drifting a little bit during that match because, quite frankly, it was boring. All right, and that shouldn't be the thing that we're starting with. That really shouldn't be the way of which this is beginning. But there was no other words. Lackluster, boring, flat, devoid of all sorts of confidence, ideas, attacking threat. We're back. 2026 is off to a great start. Welcome back to Anfield Index. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. For this half-hour sort of live match reaction, Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. It's the first 0-0 we've had since, I believe, December 2023. I think it was the 0-0 against Manchester United. It was, yes, the 17th of December 2023. If you count the last Power Mass friendly from a couple of seasons ago, fine. If you're talking about serious competitions, that is the first 0-0 we've had since the 0-0 draw against Manchester United on the 17th of December 2023 at Anfield. The second match at Anfield, that one was at Anfield as well, but this was just lackluster is the best word to say it. There was no attacking threat. There was no idea. There was no creativity. There was no danger from Liverpool, bar maybe one or two individual moments of brilliance from Hugo Ekitike, who, by the way, if he wasn't in that team today, there would have been nothing for us going forward. Florian Wirtz had a couple little glimpses. Frimpong, great first half, faded off incredibly quick. But my God, we were just lost up front. And it just felt so off rhythm, so uncoordinated. And do you know what? It wasn't even like we played necessarily badly in that first half. I mean, I just want to sort of clarify that. We were aggressive to try and win the ball. You could see there was desire. We played well, won the ball back every time Leeds picked it up and ventured forward. We were composed. We looked like we were able to control the game from the back line the way we wanted to play. And we looked decent. You know, there were a couple instances where you thought, right, this looks positive, but that was it. There was nothing beyond that final third or the midfield third. As soon as we got into attacking areas, there was nothing. And I miss the days so much of having wingers who actually took on players and actually tried to beat players, tried to be creative. Because when Jeremy Frimpong was actually going around the outside of the fullback for Leeds and actually trying to make things happen and trying to square the ball off to Ekitike or whoever was in the middle of the pitch, we looked positive and like we wanted to score goals and like we wanted to be Liverpool at Anfield against a newly promoted team who, for love nor money at the moment, have not been able to keep a clean sheet away from home. And yet we're the first team for them to do it against. It's been awful to see that type of performance. And we've had recent matches where we've had glimpses, but we haven't had a convincing win. Tottenham, we scraped. Wolves, scraped in that second half. There've been so many matches recently where we've got wins, but there was nothing to show for it. And this feels like the chickens came home to roost. This looks like a performance which showed just how inept we are going forward and how tactically, if plan A doesn't work, there is no plan B or C or D. Leeds sat deep. Leeds made such a pain in the arse for us in a defensive sense. They could not be broken down, sat in their box, sat on the edge of the box, prevented us from making anything happen. And it showed today how inept this system is at trying to break down backlines that are just decided to sit deep. And you can't even fault Leeds for it. It worked for them. They've come to Anfield, picked up a clean sheet and a point. For them, a team that's been newly promoted. Imagine if you said at the start of the season, right, a team that's newly promoted who are going to be battling relegation are going to go to the away ground of the Premier League champions who've just spent £500 million in the summer, bringing in the likes of, I know Isak wasn't in the team, but Isak, Ekitike, Frimpong, Kerkez, Wirtz, and they're going to go there, look semi-decent, look brilliant defensively, and come away with a 0-0 draw and pick up a point at the Premier League champions. They would have bit your hand off. It's mental. And there was nothing in us today that looked even like we remotely had any sort of idea of how to attack. And it's so disappointing to see. Our problem is slot. We'll break down all the comments. If you've got any comments, put them in. This is just the immediate match reaction. It's sort of unstructured, but we'll go through the individuals and bits and bobs. Rio, a literal child, did more than Gakpo, but who'll start at Craven Cottage. We do 100%. And that's the issue you had in that first half. I thought Andrew Robertson, bar a few crosses, he didn't do a great deal, but he looked like he was actually somewhat positive. When Wirtz was on the left and he was drifting inside, we looked better. You had Szoboszlai drifting out to the left wing. You had Jones out there at points. It was fluid. It was a bit more creative. It looked like we could find a way to break down Leeds. The minute Gakpo comes on, the minute Kerkez comes on, those two that just don't work, it just fell apart. Stupid decisions with the substitutes, and we just end up throwing everything at the wall. None of it sticks, and we just come away looking like desperate mugs because every single attacking player, bar Isak and Salah, who away and injured, were on that pitch at the time, and we just looked lost. You can't just throw every single attacker on the pitch in the hope that one of them is going to get you a goal because it worked against Bournemouth and Newcastle earlier in the season. Doesn't work that way. Leeds could not be broken down, not because of the players on the pitch, but because of the tactical setup and how we just did not look anywhere capable of breaking them down. I feel like we're in 2012 and Dom is trying to be Stevie. Slot needs to be sacked. Carragher made that comment on the commentary. He said, look, everyone's trying to get the ball to Wirtz because of the creativity he brings. And that's what it was like with Gerrard. And it is true. It is very true. And Szoboszlai is another player who's having to take all the pressure and try and make things happen, and it didn't work. Second newly promoted team we didn't beat at Anfield. Hopefully we can beat Burnley there later in the season. And you know what as well? We scraped the 1-0 against Burnley. That's all three teams this season in the 4 matches that we've played them. Sunderland at Anfield, Leeds at Ellen Road, Burnley at Turf Moor, Leeds at Anfield now as well, where none of them have gone to plan. 3 of them have been draws. 1 of them was a scraped 1-0 win thanks to a last-minute penalty, just to sort of symbolize where we are currently. I've never been a start lad, but I can't watch this anymore. There is no passion playing football like Sabutio. I'd have rather been playing Sabutio. I'd so much easier, so much better even playing that than it would be to watch this. Slot still has no idea to beat a low block, which manager can't overcome a low block. Now, Klopp came in for criticism of that as well, but he had players who could worm their way through a low block. Mane, for example, Salah at that point, Firmino, even Nunez, arguably at some points. This Gakpo cutting inside, Wirtz cutting inside, Ekitike just being relied upon to actually try and make something happen by beating 3-4 players and having a shot. We resorted to the fans shouting just for a shot, just any shot, no matter how far out it was and how minuscule the chance was that it was going to actually go on target, just to get some atmosphere. You've managed to turn Anfield flat. You've managed to make Anfield into such a vacuum of energy and emotion and excitement. It just feels flat. And there's a major systemic problem there when you've managed to do that over the course of a season, following on from us winning the league and bringing in the players that we have. It takes such talent to be able to take that and turn it into this, where we just look so miserable and sound flat and miserable. I've said the word flat 10 times, but it's flat and it's just dull to watch, and there's nothing about it. I miss wingers who played like wingers. I'm sick of seeing wingers trying to play like inverted strikers, like right forwards or left forwards or however you want to phrase it. I'm sick of seeing it. I want to see wingers take on fullbacks. I know there's more to it than that. I understand the system and the tactics and the setup. But if it's not working, why not just say to them, right, run at them? Don't have to always play the same style of football if it's not work. It drives me up the bend. It's not working. We need Alonso and Nagelsmann in the summer. If Hugo isn't scoring, no one is, 100%. Yes. Like the video, really, really does help out. Make sure to share this around because this is just me ranting at this point, and we all like to see that. So I watched this game as an LFC fan. It's awful from Slot tactically. Tired of this boring-ass football. Why bring Gakpo on instead of Rio and then bring Rio and Gakpo? Looks like, yep. Shambolic, boring, diabolical, lackluster, and CRAP. Just shows our squad isn't big enough. To break down a low block is to put more numbers in the middle to make third man runs in the box. And even in the second half, even in the last 5-6 minutes, when Leeds were sat back, somehow we struggled to keep the ball. We kept giving it away with stupid passes. There was just nothing. It goes out wide. They try and cross it in. No one gets on the end of it because you've got every single Leeds defender in the box because that's what they're tasked to do in this low block. And when none of our players get on the ball, everyone acts disappointed. What do you expect is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when Leeds, who are compacting the box, and there's 7, 8, or 9 of them in that box with just Calvert-Lewin up front, what do you think is going to happen when you solely stick Hugo Ekitike in the middle of that and expect them to do something? Or Chiesa, who's like 5'1", or Engamoa, who is literally a child. How are you expecting them to do something with crosses into the box when every single Leeds player is packing it tight? It's mental that this is the situation that we're finding ourselves in. Throwing every forward is the tactics of a 9-year-old child. Couldn't agree more. Any other club would have sacked him. I thought there was a lot of spark the first half, even when we weren't creating much. Second half was bad. So yeah, this seems to be the sort of the general consensus, because the first half as a whole, let's sort of break that one down. I thought we looked decent. We had a lot of attacking momentum. Obviously, the first sort of small section of the match, Leeds looked positive. They were actually going forward, venturing forward bit by bit, trying to make things happen for them. But we grew into it. We started to slow the game down a bit. We'd actually get the ball and we were good at recycling it. Had to go getting it to Frimpong, who I thought Frimpong was brilliant at points earlier on. And to tell you what, we'll cast the screen share the starting lineup and we'll just sort of go through that bit by bit. Liverpool starting lineup, and we did on the show earlier on today in the Daily Red at about 11 o'clock. We predicted who we thought was going to start this match. We predicted our starting lineup, and we got it bang on, other than the fact that Robertson started over Kerkez, which I think surprised a lot of people. I personally wouldn't have dropped Kerkez. I thought he was starting to get a good run of form. He just doesn't work when Gakpo's on the pitch. And when Gakpo came on the pitch, Kerkez went to shit. So it is what it is. But yeah, Alisson, look, Alisson didn't exactly have to do a lot. Let's be real here. He didn't have to do a vast amount in that match. He did almost give it away to Ampadu, which was mental. The fact that he tried to take the kick with the outside of his foot, ended up giving it straight to Ampadu, who, if he'd hit that harder or hit it a bit better, we would have been 1-0 down and that would have been it. Alas, not. Other than that, he didn't have a vast amount to do. Robertson, look, Robertson is what Robertson is at this point in his career. He's just someone who is a good ball into the box and not a vast amount else. I thought he was good in pressure situations, even on his left foot when they probably should have taken moments on his right. But he did his job. Composure, a bit of experience in the back line, sort of rotated well on the left-hand side with Wirtz and Jones, those sort of triangles working between them. They looked good. Van Dijk is Van Dijk, you know, didn't really put a foot wrong. Konate, I thought Konate had a good game. Didn't do anything majorly wrong. Actually positioned himself well. Was reliable. A couple of moments where maybe I just want to see him pick up the pace a bit, especially when there was the last few moments left and he's jogging to the ball when Van Dijk wants him to get forward and just do something. Frustrating. Bradley got subbed off fairly handy. Came off in the, well, actually, no, he didn't. Sorry, 79th minute. It wasn't that he did anything wrong. It's just there wasn't a great deal to him. When he went forward, very little happened with it. Defensively, he was okay, but he did get caught out at moments. Gave away a foul very early, which I felt could have been a yellow if possible. Jones didn't do much today. I don't know what you expect him to do. He's not the player who's going to break play down. He's someone who, when you're under pressure and you want the ball recycled, that's what he's there to do. Did it well when Leeds did venture forward and we won it back. He was good in the tackle. He looked, he's matured, Jones, in the way he approaches the game. He's much more, he's got more of a presence about him, and it feels much more like, rather than him being a passenger in this team now, he does feel like someone who's got a role to play, and he does it well. He can recycle the ball. He's great at rotating. There was points where he was covering left back. He was going to left wing, went centrally when Szoboszlai dropped back or Gravenberch went in between the two centre backs. He's a very versatile player, and he's finally got a place in this team. Ryan Gravenberch, I thought Gravenberch was quite good, to be honest. I don't think he really put much of a foot wrong. He was very, very regimented, I suppose is the right word. I'm clutching at straws here. But I thought he was good in the tackle, good at receiving the ball on the half turn. He didn't get much chance to really do that, but didn't do too much wrong. It's not so much that people were bad, it's just that no one was good going forward. But as a sort of, if you were to view this in the spectrum of it was Liverpool from 10 years ago, which I know it's not, and say, God, bad result, but decent performance from the individuals. This isn't a match where I'd look at anyone and go, you were bad, you were bad, you were bad. Everyone in the back line was just did the job, but it's because Leeds didn't put them under a great deal of pressure. And then Calvert-Lewin, to be fair, scored and he was offside. So yeah, the back line did well because it was dull, boring, recycle the ball, keep it in the back line, get it forward, recycle the ball, get it forward. It was just boring, rinse and repeat. So when that happens, the back line, they're not tested, they're going to look good because they didn't do much wrong. That's the only real positive I can give of it. Like it's the same with Bradley earlier, same with Robertson. That's a frustrating game for him, I think, is probably the right way of saying it. He looked good in that first half hour, 40 minutes, maybe even the first half. Tight areas, actually was able to go on the outside of the Leeds defence. In particular, during that left-hand side, Justin really struggled. Barnard really struggled with him. He was able to... He made space for himself, but he also linked up well with Robertson. He had a couple moments with Ekitike, a couple bits and pieces where he probably could have scored or had a shot at least. That one where I'm struggling with the names because it's off the cuff, but Leeds slide in, block the ball after Ekitike does all the hard work out wide. There's a connection between him and Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, and I think that we're going to see it improve. We've seen it in recent weeks improve, but this was not his match. He didn't sort of carry on from that goal that he scored the other day against Wolves, thinking that was going to be the jumping off point. There was glimpses of it in the first half, and then it just sort of faded away. Szoboszlai carries this team at points. And again, he didn't have a vast amount today. It's not that anyone was bad. It was just everyone was so blandly offensive because there was nothing. There was no attack. And Szoboszlai is a player who has carried us at points this season, particularly in recent months, like majorly Dominic Szoboszlai. And he couldn't do much today. There's just nothing. There's so little to talk about. Honestly, the player I'd like to rave about the most is Jeremy Frimpong, because Frimpong, for me, at least looked like a very good player on the wing. In terms of he was able to take on a man, he was wanting to beat a man, he was wanting to go out wide, he was actually wanting to attack. And I quite enjoy Frimpong as a player. His recovery pace is superb. His pace going forward, brilliant. Every through ball that went to him, you knew he was going to get it. You knew exactly what he was going to do. But the issue is you can't keep up with him, so you're not going to stop him. And I quite enjoyed seeing Frimpong today do what he did against Spurs and Wolves. He wants to beat people out wide, get to the byline, cross it into someone. And he did he had a few moments where it could have came off, in particular that Ekitike one, which I know what he's trying to do. He's sort of trying to guide it into the far corner. Doesn't do it. He just mishits it. But I quite enjoyed Frimpong for the early portions of the match, as I did with a lot of the players. And Ekitike, the whole team revolves around him producing an individual moment of brilliance and magic. And we didn't get that today. We had small portions where you could see it, even in the dying moments, and he's trying to get the crowd going. You can't just play the same boring, bland style of football and then expect the one magic player to produce something brilliant. We did that last season with Mo Salah, week in and week out. Every game, it was play the same style. Salah will make something happen, goal, win. We can't do that with Ekitike. He's going to rely so much on everyone around him, like a Vert, like a Szoboszlai, like a Frimpong, like a Jones, like a Gravenberg. He needs those players around him to perform. You can't just stick Gakpo on, have him cut inside every single match, shoot from distance, and then think, well, Ekitike will bail us out because he's gonna beat 3 or 4 men and slot it right into the top corner. He'll score another brilliant chip like he did earlier on in the season. Not going to happen. Can't keep doing it. It's boring to watch, and it's not effective. And if we think that that's going to get us top 4 football, like the league's gone, that is 100% gone. Let's just get that right. If we think that's going to get us top 4 football, we are so wrong. Because the issue is, Leeds sat back today. But if we're going to attack like we did today, it doesn't matter if you're playing a 3 at the back, a 5 at the back, a 2 at the back, or 1 at the back. It doesn't matter. If we attack the way in which we did today, any team is in no need to worry. No team is in immediate danger because we attack like old people screw. It's just boring to watch and it's just not good. So we need to sort this out majorly. We're so boring to watch. Ponderous pedestrian starting to look like the scum in the skies. Proper number 9. We have one who is injured, but what's the point if you can't serve him? Said this before. This is why Isak thrived at Newcastle, because you had every player in that team, Tonali, Guimaraes, Gordon, Murphy, Almiron, everyone around him designed to get the best out of Alexander Isak. Just because you take him out of that team and plonk him in ours doesn't mean it's going to work. Ekitike is a very different player because he feels like he's got a lot more running power about him, a lot more physical stature, great on progressing the ball from deep. He picks it up, he can give it, he can go. Isak isn't like that. So you're more likely to get those moments of individual brilliance from a player who can carry us from Ekitike as opposed to someone like Isak. But Ekitike has his limits as well. You can't just expect him to make magic happen against this type of Leeds team who are sat back and defending in the way they are. Doesn't work. Doesn't make sense. And honestly, just as a performance today, it showed that there's no plan B, there's no plan C. And I've said that already. Like I said, these are very off the cuff, but yeah, it's disappointing to see. Highlights, I mean, the Vert's effort that I touched on earlier. That's it. Van Dijk almost scored a header. There's nothing. There's nothing. And it's sad to see. It's disappointing to see. And it's not who we are as a club. And yet here we are, drawing 0-0 for the first time in over 2 years to a Leeds team, newly promoted. Like I said before, 4 matches we've played so far this season against the 3 newly promoted teams. 3 of them are draws. One of them was a scraped 89th minute penalty against Burnley, who played the same sort of way as Leeds. Thankfully, Leeds didn't know how to attack today, because if they did, we would have lost. And we probably should have lost, to be honest, because we didn't deserve to win. Really, really didn't. Just because you have more of the ball, because the other team lets you, doesn't mean you deserve to win. That's it. Is there a plan A? But the opposition to sleep. It worked for me. I honestly, there was so much more productive stuff I could have been doing with my time. And I know I sound like a spoiled man. I don't want every match. Not every match has to be a 5-star, blow me away, 3-4-0 victory. I'm not saying that. But at Anfield, newly promoted team who have not had a clean sheet away from home this season, who earlier on in the campaign, you scored 3 goals against their ground. Why are we making it such a chore? Why are we making it that? Why are we making Anfield into a dull cesspool of nothingness? Every team who goes there at the moment must be thinking, or comes here at the moment, must be thinking, this is easy. We can do this. Let's make something happen. Leeds started bringing on their attacking options through the match because they knew they could get something from it. And we're lucky they didn't. Don't kill me all, but we're really missing the work rate and chaos of Diaz and Nunez off the bench. Mate, I would take Nunez back in a heartbeat. I absolutely would take Darwin Nunez back in a heartbeat. I was so quick to get him out the door because I was a spoiled, entitled, rotten fan who'd just seen us win the league. I would take Darwin Nunez back in an instant. And that's no disrespect to Ekitike. Ekitike has been superb. He's one of the few shining lights from our season so far. And I might be blowing this out of proportion by saying that, we've drew 0 to Leeds and blah, blah, blah. It's not a loss. That's important to remember. But I miss the work rate of Darwin Nunez. I miss the energy of Darwin Nunez. I miss the fact that we had someone who wanted to just do whatever it took to win a match. I started rabbiting then because I was trying to delete someone, but you get what I mean? I miss that energy of Nunez. I miss the aggression of Diaz. I miss the free-flowing, play off the last man, play off the shoulder of the last man. Use the space that others are creating for you and make something happen with it. Don't when we've got midfielders, when you've got Wirtz and Robertson and Jones who are doing these intricate passing triangles and dragging players towards them, I miss the player who will use that space that's been created to try to attack on the wing. Frimpong today was the only real positive in an attacking sense alongside Ekitike that I can remember. And that says so much when a makeshift right winger who plays right back is one of the highlights of your attacking threat against a newly promoted Leeds United when we are the Premier League champions. It's frustrating, it's flat, it's boring, it's drab, and here we are. Yes, we're unbeaten in 7. I think it's 7 now. None of those wins have looked convincingly good. None of them you've come away from and thought, back to it, back at it, brilliant. It's not the case. West Ham, fair enough, probably the best one. And then we drew against Sunderland. We drew against Leeds. We've had Brighton. Tottenham we scraped. Wolves we scraped. This one we drew, and we were lucky to get that, to be honest, because Leeds just didn't know how to attack. And we're the champions against the promoted team. Like, it's awful. Slot doesn't understand Premier League. He should just resign and go. Last season, Klopp won the title, not Slot. Frustrating. Wonder why Slot did not start with Kerkez. He connected so well with Ekitike and Wirtz against Wolves. Kerkez and Gakpo have no partnership. Said this earlier on. Stupid decision when you're trying to break a team down and do something in attack that you bring on the left back and the left winger who do not work together. Frustrating. It's the only word I can think of. I'm done with Slot now. We have an embarrassment again. New Year, same shit. All the money spent in the summer wasted. 2026 is not off to a good start, is it? Let's be honest about that. It's been drab. It's been boring. But only positive, it's not a loss. It's not a loss. It's a draw. Not a good draw. And as you can see by the past half hour, it's not a draw I'm very happy with. But it is what it is. We move on now to Fulham on my birthday. That'll be going to be played, so I'm very excited about that until we play, and then I'll get frustrated again, and it will ruin my 29th. So I can't wait for that. But that is going to do it, everyone. Please make sure to click like and subscribe here to Anfield Index. There is more daily content coming out. If you head over to the website at AnfieldIndex.com, you will get all the latest news, updates, daily reports, podcasts, videos, all sorts. Go over to the Substack, itwasalwaysliverpool.com. There is content coming out the wazoo every single day. And yeah, please make sure to get involved. Really does help out massively. Click like and subscribe. I will see you again at some point in the future. Hopefully it's following a win or some sort of positivity. I know there are reports linking us with certain players right now. That will be saved for the Daily Red podcast tomorrow morning. I will not go into too much detail on it for now. You can always go to itwasalwaysliverpool.com if you want to get more work and updates on that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you all in the next stream.